What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and today we're going to find out who is the best support, whether it's Kusanagi or my girl Leona. Which one of these characters is actually the best support? And the reason that we're going to be comparing these two characters is because when you take a look at their kits, you just see a lot of amazing things regarding these characters. Now, when it comes to Leona, whenever you do take her to A5 and you unlock her EX core, then she's going to have what's called Weaken, and this actually increases your damage by 30%. This is really, really insane. Now, in today's run, in order to try to be as fair as possible, at least right now, I'm not going to be using this Weaken. Now, I am going to be using Bison in this comparison, and he does have Weaken, but in both runs, whether it's going to be with Kusanagi or with Leona, I am going to be using the Weaken from Bison, so that way everything's on a level playing field. But the other reason that Leona is actually a really good support is because whenever you do the Grand Saber EX skill, you increase target damage received by 35% for 5 seconds, which is her first skill, right? That is nice. Increased damage by 35% is insane. And then she also has an increased damage by 27%. So 35 and 27 is what? 62%? So that is a huge amount of increased target damage received, which makes her really insane. Also, the fact that she does a lot of hits with her third skill, with the spinning flaming balls around her, just helps as far as breaking the meter. So what we're going to be comparing is, her increased target damage received versus Kusanagi's increased target damage received, right? Because whenever you're tagging in, you're going to gain power, but you're also going to increase all enemies' damage received by 35% for 10 seconds when tagging out. This is insane because this character doesn't even need to be A5 to get that core. Now, I don't really think that the increased target damage received from this core and the increased target damage received from Bison is actually stacking on top of each other. They might be, but I don't think so, especially after what you guys are going to see. I don't think they're actually stacking on top of each other. There's been tests done in the past where they actually don't. So this actually, I don't think is even going to be taking effect because we're going to be using the increased all damage received from Bison's, core effect. But Kyo has this. This is nuts. The increased attack of all allies and self by 20% for 10 seconds upon use. It stacks up to 3 times, giving an extra 60% attack. 60% attack, and then he also has the increased target damage received by 32% for 6 seconds. Now, for some reason, I think the skill here, just kind of like with Leona, does add on to the increased target damage received from Bison's EX core. I do think it is adding on, but even if it isn't, you're getting the extra 60% attack. And in Leona's case, like if the increased target damage received isn't adding on to Bison's increased target damage received, then my scores wouldn't be as high as they are using Leona. I mean, every time I use Leona with Bison, I always do more damage. I always seem to do better. So I'm pretty much thinking that the increased target damage received from her, like her first and second skill, is actually stacking on top of the increased all damage received from Bison. And I think it's going to be the same thing here, right? We're going to get this increased target damage received by 32%, and we're going to be getting this increased 60% of attack, which is insane, guys. But the fact, so we already know that he's actually a better support because you can get the increased all damage received by extra 10 seconds from tagging out just by having the character. You don't need to have him at A5, which is nutty. Now, when it comes to the card set that I'm going to be using this card set on both Leona and Kusanagi in the comparison that you guys are going to see. The card set does give an increased target damage received, which is nice. I don't know if this actually stacks, but I always seem to do a little bit more damage when I use this set. So I'm going to go ahead and use this set both on Leona and Kusanagi in order to be fair, right? And Kusanagi, guys, he's just level 10. He's just level 10, and my Leona is level 70, A7, right? And I know we're just going to be coming in, we're just going to be using our skills, but this girl is jacked, guys. Like, she is jacked, right? She's got 5 imprint stones on her. She's set up pretty damn good. She's my baby doll, right? I got a lot of love in this character, but Kusanagi at, A1 is actually probably going to surprise you guys quite a bit, right? So I'm just going to show you guys a little 1 minute run, a little 1 minute comparison. And what we're going to do is I'm going to be using Rugal as my damage dealer, right? And we're going to have this team composition set up here. We're going to be using Bison. We're going to be using his weekend in both runs with Kusanagi and Leona. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to switch out Kusanagi with Leona, right? You're going to see one run with this team composition and then one run with Leona. And then it's going to be Ginnitz on the bottom, right? And Cronin does give an extra increase to burn damage, but that's really not making a difference because we're just going to be using Kusanagi as a support character in the run that you guys are going to watch. So I'm going to pull it up for you guys right now, all right? So on the left, you guys can see there's Kusanagi. On the right, you can see it's Leona. And I tried to play these as similar as I could, try to make them as the same as I could. You guys might be surprised. Now, there is a little bit of difference in the runs with Kusanagi. In the second time that I try to use the Awaken rotation for Rugal, the comeback set, that's what I got on Rugal, doesn't proc. It only procs the first time. So I just want you guys to really pay attention to the first rotation whenever I spam Rugal's Awaken skill, because in both of these runs, whenever I spam the Awaken rotation, the comeback set did proc. So we are getting the extra attack. And you guys will see a pretty big difference right after these 3 PGs from Bison. So I'll use Kusanagi on the left. I'll use Leona on the right, to break that meter. And we'll see what happens here. Okay, so I'm going to switch to Rugal. Now look how fast I go through Rugal's rotation on both the right and the left. Okay. And yeah, I mean, we're pretty much destroying here, guys. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and back it up just a little bit, and you guys can already see there is a difference in damage, right? You can already see that at 1 minute and 36 seconds, we have almost 3.2 billion with Leona, and we have 3.5 billion with Kusanagi, who's only A1. Right, he's only A1. I'm using the same card sets on both these accounts. I'm using the weekend from Bison on both of these runs. And you can already see that with Kusanagi, we are getting a higher score. We're already doing better. I mean, actually, we had 4.1 billion before we went into the 3PG for Rugal, right? 4.1 billion versus 3.2 billion on the right with Leona. So, I mean, it's a pretty stark difference between them, and it's honestly insane that you don't even have to level this character up. You don't have to take him to A5. So, like, everybody that's playing with this character, like, for free, right? We're getting him for free. A lot of players are going to give him to A2 guaranteed, and maybe A3 if they get lucky, maybe more if they get super lucky. And, yeah, I mean, he's just going to be nuts. And I really would love to do a test with Kusanagi at A5, using his EX score, and then using Leona's increased target damage received, and just do a run that way instead. So all we're really comparing here is just, the supports from the actual skills that Leona and Kusanagi offer, right? We're not comparing the actual cores, the EX scores that Leona and Kusanagi offer. So this is where, like, the comeback set actually procs on the run with Kusanagi, and it doesn't really proc with the run with Leona, as you guys will see. You'll see how slow it is for me to run through my skills on the right now. Look how slow that is, right? It didn't proc, but look at the left. It's procking like crazy. We're doing insanity. We're just running through our skills. So obviously, we're doing way more damage because of that. And that's why I want you guys to focus on the first time that I used my Awaken rotation, because that was a more accurate representation of what we can actually do. So you guys can see right now, at 1 minute, we did 7.5 billion. Again, the comeback set proc on the left side, and we were able to run through our skills much faster, which enabled us to do a lot more damage. I don't think there would be as much of a difference between the runs if that comeback set would have proc. In fact, I know there wouldn't have been as much of a difference in the runs at all. I think really we would have probably got a higher score, probably about, I think maybe 6.5 billion, maybe a little bit more with Leona on the right side, maybe about 6.5, 6.6 billion, but still on the left, we got almost 7.5 billion. So you can see there's a pretty large difference between using these two characters. There's a huge difference, right? And Leona, I mean, guys, you know that I love Leona. She's my girl. She's my baby doll. She's my waifu. But this guy here, he is a better support, at least from this test. Now, if you don't have Bison, right, and you have an A5 Leona and you have an A5 Kusanagi, which would be better? I don't really know, right? Because when Kusanagi gets leveled up, when this character gets leveled up, when he has his change-up kit, let me go to the codex here, right? To find the SS here. Where's that SS at? There we go. whenever you have this guy's EX core unlocked, right, you're going to be getting, this here, no, not that one, this one, where you're actually going to increase your critical rate by 17%. Now, because he already has the increased target damage received for 10 seconds from his core when tagging out, right, the next character is actually going to get that, and he has the increased attack by 60%, and he has the increased target damage received from his second skill. On top of this, it does make me wonder if he would be better, because I actually think he would be better at A5, especially depending on the characters that you play with. If you're playing with characters that, you do a lot of crits, like Tekken, like Jin, like Huarang, like those characters, or even some of the Street Fighter characters, then I think this character would actually be much better because he's actually going to be buffing up their critical rate on top of giving the increased target damage received, on top of giving the increased attack by 60%. He's just really all around better support because you just don't even have to level the character up. It's really insane that the game is giving us this guy for free. I mean, guys, it really, I hope nobody would complain about this because this dude, I mean, he's an awesome support. He's an insane support to have. As much as I love Baby Doll, I got to give it to Kusanagi. Now, whether or not I take this character to A5 and do another comparison, because that really does need to be done. And it might vary between characters, but I mean, he's got increased all target damage received from his core, right? He's got it in his core. I mean, that's nice, guys. I mean, and it's by 35%. So it's actually 5% more than what Leona offers with the increased target damage received by 30%. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, in the run that you guys just saw, that increased target damage received that he's offering isn't stacking on top of Bison's. I've done tests in the past where it doesn't look like those things ever stack. But, I mean, if you don't have Bison, I mean, I think there would be even more of a difference between the two characters. But let me know down in the comments if you guys do have an A5 Leona and an A5 Kusanagi, or if you've seen a run where they were being compared and what actually was the better support. But from what I've done so far in this particular comparison, this guy here is definitely the better support. So guys, let me know what you think about this comparison. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GT+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See you, everybody.